We are all painfully aware of the deep divides in our country and around the world: politics, religion, racism, inequality. The conflicting voices are loud and often angry. Author Chad Ford is a professor of intercultural peace building at BYU, Hawaii, and he's written a new book to set us on a better path called, I love the title, Dangerous Love. Good morning, Chad.
Good morning.
In your work, in this trying and strident time, what inspired you to create this book that can help us maybe get out of the anger?
Well, you know, I actually started writing the book about 5 years ago. I was a conflict mediator in the Middle East and was spending a lot of time working with Israelis and Palestinians, but also taking what I was learning as a conflict mediator and actually having some success on the ground with divided communities and wondering how that would apply back home here in the United States. I really couldn't have foretold this particular moment, which it seems so ripe right now to talk about these issues and what dangerous love means. But in such a polarized country where sometimes even families are having a hard time speaking with each other anymore, I really think that this book could be very, very helpful as a practical guide of how we transform conflict at home, in our workplaces, and certainly in our communities in the world right now.
Well, as I said earlier, I love the title, Dangerous Love. Help us understand what you mean by that when you say dangerous love.
Yeah, when we get in conflict, one way to define conflict is that it's our inability to collaboratively problem solve. So when we struggle to solve problems together, whether that's in the home or certainly if we look at our political world today where there's so much gridlock and we just can't really seem to come to sort of any agreement on anything, we start to feel fear. We start to feel like if we can't solve problems, our self-preservation instincts kick in, our fight or flight instincts start to kick in as well. And we do the exact opposite of what we actually need to do to get solutions to the problems that we want. We either run away, we hide, or we get very aggressive and start to feel like my self-preservation is the only thing that matters. But what we actually need is to cultivate us preservation. At a time when we're pulling away from each other, we actually have to sit down with each other and really start to understand the dreams, desires, needs, and wants of the other party, and then commit to finding solutions that meet not only our needs, but theirs as well. And it's amazing that when we do this, how many difficult, challenging problems we can solve together. It doesn't mean that we have to agree on everything. It doesn't mean that we have to like each other, but I define this love as that someone else's needs, wants, and desires matter as much to me as my own, and I'm committed to meeting them along with my own.
Well, Chad, this is certainly a word of hope. Were you thinking, when you wrote this book, were you thinking about organizations taking this as training, churches offering it as training? What was your target audience for your readers?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as a conflict mediator, I get calls all the time. Hey, can you help us solve this problem here or there? And actually, one of the reasons that I wrote the book was I wanted to write it in a way that if you went through it thinking about your own conflict, whether you have a problem with your spouse or your kids or you're struggling at work, there's a number of exercises in the book that as a mediator, I would typically take you through that you can take yourself through that can get you out of the conflicts that you're in. We beta tested this on the ground in multiple ways with these exercises. And even though, yes, at times I can come out and do a workshop or work with your organization or company, I really wanted to empower people to be able to do this on their own. And, you know, it's really been gratifying to hear people now who are starting to read the book and emailing in or coming back on social media and talking about how it's changed a relationship that they thought was unchangeable.
Well, I'm looking forward to getting my hands on that book. I work with several organizations that are trying to generate these kind of conversations, so we really will appreciate your work, Chad. Tell our viewers how they can get their hands on your book.
Yeah, you can go to dangerouslovebook.com, and you'll see that you can order it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, wherever you get your book. It's available in hard copy, it's available in ebook, it's available in an audiobook that I've read. And on dangerouslovebook.com, you can also connect to our podcast where we have a lot of conflict experts that are coming on, talking about everything from dangerous love in parenting to dangerous love in marriage to dangerous love on major issues in our world today, like Black Lives Matter.
Thank you so much, Chad Ford. Looking forward to reading your book.
Thanks for having me on.